Here we go.
They're getting Joe back because the fucking Pats are gone now.
Hey, watch your mouth. You kiss your mother with that mouth?
I told you on Friday, period. CIA.
Let him do his job.
Rihanna fucked my suit up. Rihanna did this. Look at my suit. It's a little different than it was 5 minutes ago.
Here we go.
Oh, it's a little different than it was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. You're hooked in.
Look at Joe, man.
Oh,
Major win.
that was nuts. Oh.
Yeah. You're hooked in.
All right, Joe Tacopina is about to talk
That was
to
nuts.
the media. Here we go.
I didn't realize how athletic he was. He in a single leap went over the jury box. But I mean the spectator row. Look, that was raw emotion. That was happiness. You know, there was a moment where before we heard the words from the clerk, you know, he didn't know if he was going to be spending the next 2 decades in jail or going home. And so when you hear those words, obviously, you know, I know how he was feeling. We've been in communication the last few hours. And there's a lot on the line. He has 2 little children. He's got a beautiful wife and he's got a family. And so that was raw emotion. You guys got to see that. And, you know, it was, even for us, I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it was just very, very satisfying.
When you and I spoke earlier, you said there was a lot on the line, you know, when coming to this verdict. Now that everything's over with, what's next for ASAP? What's next for the whole family now that they can get past this?
Well, they promised their 3rd kid would be named ASAP Joe. So that's as far as I know. I'm kidding. You know, what's next is they're going to move on. I mean, they have a lot of great things professionally to do. You know, Rocky's really at the height of his career. He's worked with Gucci, he's worked with Puma, he's got a lot of things going. Obviously, Rihanna
He's killing it.
is on top of the world, and they have 2 beautiful, beautiful children, and they have a family. And you saw them come together. You know, I took offense to the prosecutor, Lewin, saying that they manufactured some sort of appearance of a family in his summation.
Yeah, that
But I
was
think the
messed
jury
up.
obviously took offense to that too. They were a family, and they were a family, and that's why she was here to support him, and that's why his kids came. He doesn't know when he's going to see them again, and if this didn't go well for him, not that I thought it wasn't going to, you know, so it was just beautiful to see. You know, this is what we do. You know, we work hard, and these trials are hard, and they tax us, and you don't sleep. But at the end of the day, this is what it's all about. That's why I went to law school. That's why he went to law school. So you see this, and it makes it all worthwhile.
And we saw his reaction. Talk to you about his demeanor, like leading up to when that verdict came in. I mean,
Dude, he was way calmer than I was. I mean, he was calming me down. So, like, I was more anxious.
It's got to be
nervous.
stressful,
that's always
man.
the way it is for me. You know, when something so important is about to happen. So he was really calm, cool, and collected. At the end, obviously, when that jury started piling in, and you know, you can't read anyone's faces. You know, there was a tension that he said, "I can't breathe," and I said, "Neither can I." So that makes 2 of us. You know, Chad and I've been together 22 years. I know how he feels. So it's just a moment of incredible angst. But when you have something like this happen, it makes it all worthwhile. It's great.
what do you think the key evidence was that made the jury make this decision?
The key evidence. The fact that there was no evidence. I think that was the key evidence. I think
Right. And so
relying
what
on
we
Terrell
have
Efron
ultimately-
for any
No
matter
evidence.
of importance in your life, a decision on a matter of importance in your life would not be possible for anyone with a brain. And the jury clearly understood that argument. And
I agree.
I pointed out to the jury that I got Detective Flores, their lead detective, to say without Efron's testimony, there's no evidence of a shooting one way or another. That could be or that cannot be.
Yeah.
That really was it. You know, I left 10 questions for John Lewin to answer. He didn't even look at one. And those were 10 important questions, including number 9, which was, without Efron's testimony, as the prosecutor asked, Detective Flores acknowledged that there's not enough evidence in this case to say that definitively there was a shooting. So I was surprised he didn't touch those questions, but I knew he couldn't answer them.
Garbage.
That's why I put him up there. So anyway, I think that's why the jury came. And look, it was a quick verdict, right? I mean, they started almost 10 o'clock. They had a lunch break. They watched the video, and they had a verdict. So
Yeah.
you know, for a basically 4-week trial, when I heard it was a verdict, I felt pretty good. Not so overly confident because you just never know, but I felt pretty good.
You talked about
I'm not leaving. I'll answer everyone's questions, so don't worry. Yeah.
You talked about your client's raw emotion. We saw it. He dove.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He said that was crazy. That was crazy.
Thunderous reaction. Talk about the reaction that we've seen from the public, supporters of his.
Yeah. Look, I've been here for over a month, and just me walking around. I'm not him, right? People were just wishing me luck for him. I mean, he's loved, very well loved in the city, and I think he's got a lot of fans. And that doesn't happen because he's a singer. It happens because who he is as a person. A lot of what the jury didn't hear was who ASAP really is, who ASAP Rocky is as a person. He does incredible charity work. He gives back to the community. He's become a dear friend of mine more than a client. And that's why cases like this are really difficult for me, because there's so much on the line. I mean, I care about every client I represent to the point where they become family. This was at a different level. And so I was just not prepared for. I would not accept any other verdict at this one.
Why was this one so different? You said you care about every client, but they were like family. What was so special about?
He and I have bonded over the last 3 years in a way that and he's just a different person. I attribute that to him, the way he conducts himself, the way he's so appreciative with us, the way he is with his. I mean, I spent time with him and Rihanna at their house, and they're just. As humble and as can be for people with that level of success. They are really sweet, good people. And I would have been really, really hurting if this didn't go the right way. But, thank God that jury, we had a great jury.
Speaking of family, do you think the jury seeing ASAP with Rihanna as a family man and their children helped his defense?
No, I don't think that helped his defense at all. Look,
I agree
everyone
too.
knows he had Rihanna. Everyone knows he has 2 kids, sorry. I mean, I don't think the jury's like, all right, we think he's guilty, but look at the kids. I mean, so that's, I'm glad the prosecution focused on that in their summation. We didn't. The evidence in this case was deficient. I think that they need to be going after Terrell Efron. As I've always said, he was an extortionist. He was someone who we showed committed extortion. The tape that one of you all said was really good for the prosecution that we brought in, turned out not to be so good for the prosecution.
Uh-oh.
It was him repeating the same story that he'd repeated from.
Is that Megan right there? Oh, dang. Oh, no. Megan, man. Oh, Megan. Poor Megan, man. She's over there struggling.
They won. But what it had on there was, one,
boy, they're gonna
to this jury, and 2, him acknowledging he wanted $30 million.
I feel bad for Megan.
That's called extortion.
Dang.
For what? To get his $697 he has in his bank account? Even
Dang!
Though, if you look on Instagram, he's a billionaire. But, I'm not suing Raleigh. I have other things in life to do. He sued us. And after today, I don't think that's going so well. So, but anyway, look, I'm just happy the jury came to the right conclusion swiftly. Yes.
So speaking of evidence or lacking evidence, the fact that a gun was not presented in court to the jurors, did that make a difference in this verdict?
Who knows what made a difference? I mean, that jury, they're able to speak to you guys if they want to. I don't know if they're going to. Both ways the gun wasn't presented, right? Our gun, the gun that Rocky actually had, the prop, or the gun that the prosecution said he had wasn't produced. So I think it's a wash, so to speak. I think the jurors had to go on the evidence that they had, right? They can't speculate. They had evidence in this case. Most of the incriminating evidence came from the words of someone who's, as I said, whose tongue is a stranger to the truth.
That was good. That was a good line.
Admitted liar. So I just don't think any jury could embrace that. And if you can't believe Tyrell Efron in this case, you can't convict. It's that simple.
Can't trust the messenger. You gotta ignore the whole message. Period.
Well, if the messenger doesn't fit, you must have quit. Did that happen in this courtroom, something like that? How did I keep at ease? He fed off my confidence, honestly. He fed off my confidence. We talked every night. Obviously, he was heavily involved with his defense.
Yeah.
But he would follow my lead. And if I told him things were going well, obviously he didn't know this procedure, this process. But I told him things were going well, they went well. So, he was really good. He's a smart guy. His only misstep was that time he uttered out, in the courtroom about, his personal company, which just didn't, was so irrelevant. So it was so irrelevant to the case.
He just didn't want it
obviously
getting
he was
leaked.
Being defamed. People were using derogatory statements towards him. Relly called him every name in the book, for, homophobic names, all these things, and Rocky didn't move a muscle. But when something personal to him was being asked about, which irrelevant to the case, what his company was called, what the acronym for. Well, it's an acronym for his company that had to do with his family. I'm going to leave it at that, right? And he was asked. So
That was
he didn't want that
AWGE.
revealed nationally, publicly. It's like a private thing, the way someone doesn't want their phone number revealed. So he, after the witness had already answered, he said, "Don't say," which caused me to heel kick him in the ankle. So the second time you heard from Rocky was a yelp. So it was, "Don't say ow," but the ow was from me. "Don't say" was from him. But it was irrelevant to this case.
That's
Again,
hilarious.
The prosecution focused on that. They focused on Rihanna and the kids. They focused on a lemon. They focused on a dog. They focused on a donut. We focused our summation on the facts. And, I guess the jury saw it our way. Yeah, I think that was a great bonding experience for them personally. I mean, I've known them for a while. Rihanna is an amazing woman, strong woman, and she obviously was there to support him. She'd always been in touch with me throughout the process to make sure things were going well, and privately wanted reassurance. But she was here. Wild Horse, Rocky did not want her here. I will tell you that. I think I said it to you in the beginning. He did not want her here. He wanted to shield her from this. Wild Horses couldn't keep her away. So, this you go through something like this as a family, it brings you closer. It's a bonding experience, and they're just two special people. So I can't imagine this has been anything but a life-altering experience for them.
How does it feel to get a public win after Donald Trump fired you?
So, do you know your facts?
Well, I'm asking you.
No, he didn't fire me. I resigned from the case.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Before he fired you?
he didn't fire me.
You're not here for that.
I'm not here for that. I was invited to the inauguration also, but I don't know what you're talking about. But so I'm not going to answer questions about other cases in my career. But that's a good question. You must be a good journalist.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Boy, that was low.
Well, clearly they weren't receptive to his message, right? Clearly they weren't receptive to his message and his tactics. I mean, he treated two witnesses who came in here respecting the process, the court, were compliant witnesses, and he yelled at them for 2 hours.
It's true.
I had a witness abusing me, cursing at me, flexing, cursing, throwing water bottles, and I didn't lose my cool. And I don't think that's good for a jury. I don't think a jury wants to see a lawyer out of control. So, I look.
Yeah, that
based
was
on the verdict,
nasty.
I can only say clearly that those tactics didn't work, right? The yelling, the screaming, the constant objecting. A jury doesn't want to be kept away from the facts. And I think they want
True.
to know that the facts are, being brought to them. And they won't want to be hidden from facts. So when you constantly object as a lawyer and the jury feels like you're trying to hide something from them, I think they don't like that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Lewin's conduct had anything to do with it. I think the facts really governed the day and carried this verdict. So I really do, more so than any lawyer's conduct in the case.
Yeah, I
Hey
agree.
guys, anyone else? We're good? I don't want to not answer anyone's questions.
I'm surprised Megan didn't ask any questions.
You think A$AP Rocky should be prosecuted? You think he should be prosecuted, A$AP Rocky?
Yeah, damn right I think he should be prosecuted. I mean, he perjured himself a dozen times in front of this jury. Perjured
Dang,
his crime.
Joe.
There's now evidence that he committed extortion on the record. Let's see if the DA really wants to go after a criminal. I mean, they spent all this time, all this money pursuing Rocky, someone who was acquitted and vindicated. Hopefully they'll go pursue a real criminal, and they have the evidence to do it. It's on the record, so he should prosecute him. I hope he does.
Sheesh. Wow.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for coming back.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all very much.
There it is, A$AP Joe, or let's put respect on his name, the Honorable Joe, A$AP Joe Tacopina in the building. Wow. Amazing work, man. Did an excellent job all throughout this trial. Very little, if any, missteps as well. And I think the jury saw that, obviously, with the not guilty verdict. What do y'all think about this? I'm going to go on a little victory lap of my own. We called this from the beginning. We knew it was going to be not guilty. And now we see that I'm coming for y'all. You know who you are. You will be held accountable.